So welcome back to Bae and J. Here we are again. We are going to discuss another topic. I think we're discussing therapy today, right?
Yes, we
Is
are
that what we're talking about?
Discuss a little bit about therapy.
Yeah, and our experience with therapy. Mm-hmm. So if you want to know more about what a therapy session looks like with a throuple, stay tuned.
Yeah.
You can hide it, 'cause I feel you, never let you go. Boy, I know our love is strong, even when sunlight turns to stone.
So we are very big, firm believers in therapy. I have been to individual therapy and we have done throuple therapy as well over the last couple of years.
Yes. And we did throuple therapy while we were in the closet.
Yeah.
And throuple therapy while we were out of the closet.
Yes, absolutely.
Completely different experiences.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, it was wild.
So I think we should talk about that first therapy experience.
Yeah.
We were in the closet.
That first therapy experience, man, I mean, I think this is the first thing that I'll say is that when you're picking a therapist, it is of the utmost importance that you pick somebody that you feel good about. Like, I think everybody feels good about. And, that maybe can relate a little bit better to your generation and
Culture.
Culturally, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think that's my first word of advice for anybody seeking therapy, because that first one was just kind of
And it sometimes can take a little bit of trial and error too.
Yeah.
I mean, let me say, I liked our first therapist. I just think that, from my perspective, on that therapy experience, it felt like Jeff and Letitia were just not ready to hear what she had to say.
I mean, that could very well be what has me tainted about that first experience, because obviously memory is funny like that, right? But I definitely remember not enjoying myself. I think that it felt like she was taking sides a little bit.
But you feel like that with the second one.
Oh well, now I will say that the second one was a little bit more of a feminist. Would you not agree?
But what does that have to do with anything?
Well, I mean...
Well, his point was that the first one, he was saying that he felt like our first therapist kind of took sides.
So I feel like she didn't challenge us the way our second therapist did.
Right.
So
I would agree with that.
taking sides, it felt like, I wouldn't say that she took sides.
I didn't feel like she took sides.
But she didn't, I feel like she didn't challenge us in a way
it was like
that
she was afraid to really
get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, to get to the nitty gritty of it and be like, all right, well, listen, let's act like we only exist in this room. Is this right? Is this wrong? What is the solution? That wasn't something that she gave us. But I wouldn't say that our first therapist took sides, because I can remember her really trying to empathize with Letitia. And okay, so you come from this New Orleans family. Everybody knows the last name. And so we can totally understand how... She was saying she could completely understand how uncomfortable it would make Letitia to bring herself out of the closet. And I personally remember that session specifically because I felt like she had empathized with Letitia staying in the closet and hadn't really challenged her on what she should consider about why coming out of the closet was even more important. And coming out of the closet was such a huge step for Letitia in her growth as an individual, as a woman, and she never challenged us on that. And we weren't getting anywhere.
No,
we weren't getting anywhere. There was no challenge for how we were operating. I was very much sad and depressed because
and I think that for me, when I say that she was taking sides, there were a couple of comments that she made that made it feel like she was less than neutral in the situation.
I think both of the therapists did stuff like that where it was like, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But they are human too, so.
Right, and I forgive them for that, but it was potentially triggering. You know what I'm saying? And then,
triggering.
And so that's where my perspective comes from.
So I would say, for like, because we're talking about the fact that we support therapy. You have to know when your therapist isn't working.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all three knew that our first therapist wasn't working. She wasn't working for me because she wasn't getting us any closer to being out of the closet. And that was one of the things keeping me in a rut, in a place of like misery in this relationship.
Yeah.
And she wasn't challenging Jeff or Letitia to really do anything differently. And so we weren't actually feeling like we had therapy.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of introspection.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of introspection or challenging.
Yeah.
So let's jump to our next therapist, who was good, still not the ideal fit for us, but she challenged us.
Yeah.
And she gave us assignments that helped us to understand ourselves and one another.
But she also gave us a foundation of good communication. You know, that took us a long. It took us a pretty far distance with being able to express our feelings in a way that wasn't triggering to the other person.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you have to say about that, T?
No, it was rough. It was hard for me. Oh my God, I would have sweating palms.
All the time.
My heart is beating because my go-to is kind of to clam up and to like, all right, well, I'm gonna be quiet because I'm not trying to, I just want peace. But that's not peace. Like, you're causing your own dysfunction.
Especially when there's a big elephant.
Right. So yeah, she was good. The communication style that we practice is called Imago therapy, I guess. Imago communication style. Yeah. And we are three people who can talk and talk a lot. And so this Imago really reduces you to yourself and how you feel. Not about the other person, not about what they did.
Yeah, you did this.
It's not about that. It's about you and how you feel. And it's these very simple sentences that you have to use. And there were certain times that after therapy, we'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to be able to talk.
Yeah. Because you have to 100% think before you speak.
Yeah.
And Letitia,
you gotta take the personal out of it.
You have to take the personal out of it.
Yeah.
Letitia and I are sticklers for rules.
Yes.
But I was the biggest stickler for the Imago rules, because if somebody said, I'd be like, nope. Start that with I. Nope. Say this. Nope.
So let's give an example then. In Imago communication style.
Okay, in Imago communication style, if there's something that you want to celebrate for your partner, I would say, Letitia, I have an affirmation for you.
You have an affirmation for me?
Yes.
Tell me more.
Okay.
That's the invitation.
Yeah. And I would say something like, you're taking care of the kids while Jeff and I have been pulling together this studio to get it launched for February. Has been an incredible benefit and asset to us. Thank you. And
then I would kind of summarize, like, you feel, I don't know.
Appreciation.
Appreciation. I have been taking care of the house and the kids while you all are trying to get these other businesses up and running. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
then we just be like, thank you.
Thank you, right.
That's right.
And then if there's like an issue, it would be, that one's really easy for me because it's been a struggle. So I would say.
Did you wipe a tear?
I did.
What happened? Okay.
I would say, what is it? Jeff?
Yes.
Is now a good time?
Yes.
And I have the option to say, no, it's not a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a good time or is it not a good time?
Well, if he says that, then you say, when is a good time?
Yeah, when is a good time?
Right now.
Oh, right now. Okay, great. So if now is a good time, I find it very difficult to spend money when I don't know where it comes from.
Okay. So I hear you saying that you find it difficult and maybe even frustrating to spend money if you're not sure of the source of the money.
That's correct.
Yes.
What can we do together as a solution so that we can purchase the things that we need without creating anxiety and nervousness and frustration for me?
Okay. I would say that my solution to that would be to inform you exactly of what my budget is beyond bills and money required to run the family and the expenses of the household, to assure you that it is lagniappe and not actually I'm not diving into essential funds.
That makes me feel great.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Give me a hug. Mwah.
So those are examples of Imago therapy.
But mind you, when you're first starting, they're very short.
Yeah, it's like you're like
and you want to say more, and she's like, no, you're gonna stay right here.
Right.
It took months.
It was frustrating.
It
was super frustrating.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, because your first instinct is you want to be like, you did this.
Yeah.
You made me feel.
Right. That's it. You made me feel. But you have to, and we've said that to you guys. Like, when you're talking to your significant other, don't tell them what they did. Just say, when this happens. Not even when you do this. When this happens, it makes me feel. Because you have to keep owning it. You have to keep owning it.
Yeah.
Now,
it's about how you feel. It's not about what the other person did.
Yes. It's about how it made you feel, because you're trying to help them with your perspective.
Yeah, you're trying to help people understand your mental and emotional perspective. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can only do that by taking the you out of it.
Yeah.
Like
so that you don't put the other
blame.
person on defense.
Exactly.
Because as soon as you put the other person on defense, they definitively can't hear what you're saying because they're thinking about how to tell you this is not what you saying is about me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's therapy.
Yeah.
But I think the big piece that I love that we've talked about, I was at our son's elementary school, and there was a post up, and it was basically Imago therapy. And I took a picture, and I was like, they're learning Imago therapy in elementary, So I think the other piece is we have to recognize, we're all at around 40, and we were not, you 40. We were not equipped with these types of therapeutic tools for working through our issues with ourselves, with our friends, with our families, etc. So it's really also a beautiful thing to see that even in elementary school now, they're teaching you how to talk to your friends, how to explore what you're feeling with them, and
Super
move
important.
through it. Yeah,
Super
it feels really good.
And then to reinforce that at home, is the that's the nail in the coffin. Most times, because how many times have we learned things at school and it not be reinforced at home, and you kind of lose it as you grow up. But and so that makes me excited for like our younger generational people, and that they may be able to express themselves in ways that we could only have dreamed of prior to therapy.
Right. Like prior to 30 years old.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Find you a good therapist. Okay. We definitively want to know, are you in therapy? What are some of the biggest lessons that you have gained from therapy? How have you navigated a journey of therapy? Have you found your ideal therapist? What does that look like? And I think the other piece I would love to know is like, how has therapy helped your relationship if you and your partner or partners have embraced it?
That's a good question. Yeah, curious.
We can't say that we have found our perfect therapist yet. We've worked with two, and with our second one, we learned so much, but we were yearning for someone that was more culturally relevant. And so we haven't really found that yet, but we really did take a lot of the tools from that one, and we maintain them to this day.
The things she taught us were invaluable to us. So we definitely
really took advantage of our therapist. therapy session. So we had a therapy session once a week.
Yep.
And that was definitively when we would all three, so we would all have therapy for an hour, and then we would be able to eat.
We
would go to lunch after, so we could relax, we could have a drink, and then we could talk a little bit more even outside of therapy. So really, our therapy session kind of became like a 2-hour session once a week. You know, 52 times a year. Yeah. And so we did that. We maintained her for over a year.
Yeah, it was a good while. It was a journey.
Good. We really did look forward to it.
We needed that. If we hadn't done that, who knows if me, Bae and J, the three of us, I think, would be together.
But it wouldn't be necessarily as clear and as happy and as just good.
Yeah.
Good.
Because you got stuff. You have to be able to explore the stuff with your people. Because everybody's gonna have stuff personally.
Everybody's gonna have some traumas from that they bring into relationships, and it's just beneficial to anybody. We put the kids in therapy as soon as they can.
It's about discovery.
It's about self-discovery. Yeah. It's about being able to talk about your feelings and understand that that's okay to feel certain ways. It's okay to feel shame or guilt or happiness over something. It's all those things are necessary for the human experience, right? Yeah. But if nobody ever tells you that it's okay, for some of us, especially for men and for young men and for little boys and stuff, those older generational things were closed off from our emotions. You're told to suck it up and be a man. Yeah. And obviously that's not the way forward. We know that's not the way forward. Yeah. Anybody that has any kind of sense of what progression looks like or what it takes understands that it's going to require us to be introspective with ourselves.
Yeah.
And,
the self-discovery and the introspection, it challenges us to understand the root of what we are bringing into our lives in general, as well as into our relationships. Because sometimes we don't even know how to explain to our partners what we're dealing with.
What's going on.
Until we've been challenged to have a little introspection, to ask ourselves discovery questions that can help us to really trace where it's coming from, so that we can share that with our partners.
Yeah, because if you're not aware of it, you can't heal it, right? Yeah. And the thing is that once you're able to...
They're going to listen. They're going to hate. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're right.
You better touch teeth.
Once they are able to... no, but seriously. Once you're able to see where some of those things come from in your own upbringing or your own relationships with your parents, whatever it is, whatever those things are, most of the times it's from your parents.
It's a lot.
The other benefit is that you're stronger and you're better equipped to not allow new traumas to creep in and to disturb your emotional well-being.
Yes, or like Letitia loves to say, protect your peace.
There you go.
So, all right, so let's bring this to a close. Yes. Make sure you like this video.
That's right.
If you're not already subscribe to me, Bae and J. Stay tuned.
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, so if you want to see more pictures of us and videos of us outside of, the table.
The episodes.
Definitely to see the family. Please check us out on those platforms.
Yeah. Yep. Until next time, guys.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.